Audio. This podcast is called Obsessed. Joseph Scrimshaw and his guest get some secrets off their chest. You should listen. It's the best.
Hello and welcome to Obsessed with me, Joseph Scrimshaw, on Feral Audio. I am your host. I am still Joseph Scrimshaw. This week's episode is all about spooky times. We're discussing Will Weldon's weird obsession with Halloween Horror Nights. You can find the talented and charming Mr. Weldon on Twitter as @OldManWeldon, and you can check out his podcast with the very funny Eliza Skinner called Angry Little Goats, available wherever podcasts are sold or struggling to find a reliable system for monetization. And speaking of horror, I am delighted to be doing a spooky episode like this because I really like Halloween. I do not give a shit that I'm an adult. I've seen some people on Twitter making fun of adults who like Halloween. To them, I say, I don't give a shit. It is my favorite holiday. And it is my favorite holiday for one very specific reason. No one tries to tell you how you should feel on Halloween. I mean, sure, there are plenty of different emotions or feelings or circumstances you can experience, like horror or gluttony or glee or sexy time feelings, and whatever emotions are brought up by the sense memory of trying to see and breathe through a latex mask of Batman's face, whatever emotion that is. But those are all optional feelings. Every other major U.S. holiday is an endless barrage of the world telling you what to feel. And one of the feelings you almost always are expected to feel is some little bit of guilt. Thanksgiving, you're supposed to feel grateful and bloated by turkey. And if you do not feel grateful enough, you should feel guilty. Christmas, you are supposed to feel just an endless string of things, just joy, peace, goodwill, massive yet hidden pride in the raw power of consumerism, guilt. New Year's is all about optimism, lying to yourself about exercising, hangovers, guilt. Valentine's Day, love, sexy feelings, ironic dislike of the Hallmark card that you just purchased anyway, guilt. St. Patrick's Day is alcohol poisoning and insulting misunderstanding of Irish history and culture, guilt. Easter is joy, renewal, fertility because rabbits shit eggs in your yard and hide them from you, guilt. 4th of July is all about patriotism, meat sweats, a fear of blowing your own hand off, guilt. Earth Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Arbor Day, National Make Up a Holiday to Justify Your Choices Day all have a little bit of guilt. But not Halloween. Halloween is an honest holiday. We're all intrigued by dark and scary things. We all like candy. We get to put on masks, go to other people's homes, and take things from them. We don't give anything. We just take. It's honest. Halloween is basically a huge group of otherwise normal people role-playing an elaborate heist film together. And the only difference is at the end, we do not need to feel guilty. Halloween is a celebration of monsters. And deep down, I think we all feel like monsters at least some of the time. And instead of trying to fight that or change that, Halloween just pats you on your monstrous heathen back and says, "Fuck yeah, weirdo, dress up like a giant squirrel for no reason, and then drink too much cherry vodka, and then sit in your Subaru thinking about life for a few hours before you drive home and eat macaroni and cheese while watching Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein." That is a totally arbitrary example and not a precise description of what I did a few years ago for Halloween. Anyway, the point is, I hope you have a very fun Halloween, you monsters. Now, on to the true horror plugs. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram is @Joseph Scrimshaw. You can follow Obsessed Podcast on Twitter is @Obsessed Podcast. There are two ways to support this podcast. You can back us on Patreon and get exclusive bonus episodes every month. For full info on that, go to patreon.com/Joseph Scrimshaw, or you can support all the podcasts on the Feral Audio Podcast Network by shopping through our portal. Just go to feralaudio.com, click the Support Our Artist button, and shop on Amazon, and some of the money will go to supporting Feral Audio. This week, I'm recommending you buy a child-sized Kylo Ren Halloween costume, because what father doesn't want to dress their kid up as someone who committed patricide? Fun! Finally, shows. I do shows. If you're in the Los Angeles area, please come check out my show, Headcanon. It's a comedy game show about pop culture stuff. I do it every month with my friend Hal Lublin. This month's show is Thursday, November 10th, 7 p.m. at Nerd Melt, with guests Janet Varney, Mike Furman, and fellow Minnesotan transplant to Los Angeles, Amber Preston. You can buy tickets now on my website at josephscrimshaw.com/live-shows. But for now, sit back, relax, turn out all the lights, hang some spider decorations, put on full zombie makeup, and enjoy Will Weldon's obsession with Halloween Horror Nights. Hello and welcome to Obsessed with me, Joseph Scrimshaw. I'm sitting in my home with a comedian and a Canadian, Will Weldon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I was trying to create the perfect intro for you because the last time you were on the podcast, I described you as awesome, and you felt that was insincere.
Oh, yeah. Comedian and Canadian. Listen, let's leave it up to the listeners to make
fill
their
in the
decision.
mysteries? Yeah.
If they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, please, when I post this episode, by all means, find us on Twitter and let us know whether or not you think Will is awesome.
Yeah, if you
that's fair?
If you could put up a Twitter poll after you post it, I would really love to that, and then I could come on the podcast and talk about how I was obsessed with the results of that poll.
Would you want it to be just yes or no awesome, or would you want another option? Is he awesome or is he crap?
I think it has to be yes or no. I don't
yes
want
or
people,
no.
Yes or no. Is he awesome? Because I don't want people to have like a way out.
Right.
I don't want them to be like, oh, I thought one of the things was funny. It's like, no. Answer the question, you pigs.
An honest Twitter poll for once, for God's sake. Well, we're going to get into your obsession for in just a minute here, but I have been taking questions from listeners about their own obsession and then getting my guests to help me answer. Are you up for that?
Yeah.
This comes from Christine Tracy, who kindly supports
two first names?
Christine.
Little shady. Little shifty, Christine Tracy. I don't trust those two first names.
It could be a mystery person.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's two people and her ampersand key was broken. That's an ampersand, right?
Right, the and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that the same in Canada, that it's called an ampersand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Christine and Tracy, possibly, or just Christine Tracy, she asks, or rather says, I have an obsession with lawn gnomes, but it is impractical to put them on the lawn. Is this a lost cause, or should I continue to fill my house with them?
I mean, she answered her own question. It's impractical to put them on the lawn. They're lawn gnomes. Listen, I'll say lawn gnomes already unsettling when they're just on a lawn. But when they're in someone's house, it's like, oh, this person is unwell. This is an unwell person with lawn gnomes.
Well, I'm not going to say that about Christine Tracy.
Like, imagine if you walked into someone's home and it was filled with those pink flamingo lawn ornaments.
Right.
And you'd be like, why aren't these on the lawn? And the person was like, well, it's not practical. You'd be like, this person is going to wear my skin one day.
Sure, but I see that argument. I also see the argument where if you just have an attachment with these things and you don't want to scare your neighbors, it's kind of you to keep them in your home.
I say you get one and then you get rid of the rest, whether you donate them. I'm not saying throw them in the garbage. But, I don't know, give them away. Give them away as gifts. Your friends will be like, that crazy woman really cares for these things, so this is a real sentimental gift she's giving me.
Do you think that it would be better to give them away or to randomly place them on lawns and then have other people wake up and just discover that there is now a lawn gnome that has appeared in their lawn?
I think it'd be better to place them on the lawns, but if you're worried for the well-being of the gnomes, that's a bad approach. I'd like to remind everyone, I do know lawn gnomes, not living things. They were never alive. They're not alive. But I'm just saying this seems like the kind of situation where you'd be like, I can't just leave them on other people's lawns. They might get hurt.
Yeah, you just want to keep an eye on them. I think that people should collect whatever weird shit they want to collect. And I think that the lawn gnomes in the house are fine. But I think that the lawn gnomes all need to be in a window looking out longingly at a lawn because that's where they belong and want to be ultimately.
Okay, and that's fair. You can have the lawn gnomes in your home, but you also have to be fine with the repercussions of having lawn gnomes in your home.
What do you feel the repercussions are?
People thinking you're fucking weird, man.
Do you collect anything?
Slights and grudges?
If you could go to the store and buy like a little jar to contain your grudge, like a Harry Potter jar where you could store every grudge magically, would you line those up in your home?
I don't like collecting things because I don't like having a ton of any one thing.
You want to be able to be on the move.
It's not even that. I do that. Yes. But also, yeah, I have commitment issues. But also, like, I would rather have, like, one or two of a bunch of things.
Okay.
So I'm not going to collect, like, those, like, little big-headed pop culture action figure
Oh, yeah,
things.
the pop vinyls. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I'd have one of those.
Right.
In a home. And, like, I wouldn't have a bunch of, like, Marvel character statues or busts.
Yeah.
But I might have, like, one.
Okay, so you want a variety in your home.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Christine, this is the advice we have, is that you could have a variety of kind of lawn gnomes. You could leave them on other people's lawns as a kind of friendly surprise, or at the very least, have them stare longingly at the lawn. Christine, thank you so much for supporting the podcast on Patreon and for your question. So, Will, we're going to get into you and
Do you
your
have
obsession.
to support on Patreon to ask a question?
No. This one just happened to come from Christine.
Listen, here's my rule. If you don't support on Patreon, keep your fucking questions to yourself.
Do you have a Patreon?
No.
That's a good way to just avoid any questions in life.
Why would I have a... Yeah, every time I open my dumb mouth.
Yeah, well, you have a podcast, right? You
Yeah.
could have a Patreon to support your podcast.
I guess. I don't know how to do that tax-wise, because there's two of us have the podcast.
Right.
And, like, it's also the type of thing where, like... Eliza writes for, like, James Corden. Like, Eliza has, like, a great job.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, I don't know, it feels weird for me to be like, hey, you. And also a lot of people who listen to our podcast are all, like, broke pieces of shit like I am. So it's like, hey, give us your money, you poorer mother. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm cursing all over the place
Oh,
already.
feel free.
Listeners, I got locked out of my apartment. I'm still dealing with the stress of having to sit around for an hour trying to get back in.
Yeah. And imagine if there was a lawn gnome in the window staring out at you.
Oh, I would have been furious. I would have smashed that window and torn that thing to shreds.
So a lawn gnome would have helped you get back inside by
Yeah, but I would have been all
infuriating
cut up and then had to buy a new window.
you. All right, let's get into your obsession.
All right.
So you are a comedian. You have a podcast called Angry Little Goats,
Yeah.
right? And you've been on this here podcast a couple times before. I always like having you on. You're very charming. So I emailed Will in particular and said, hey, I want to have a Halloween time episode. Are you obsessed with any kind of horror stuff? And you told me that you are obsessed with Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
So for people who have no idea what that is, break it down. What are Halloween Horror Nights?
So Halloween Horror Nights is Universal Studios. I believe they do it in Orlando, but I have my weird East Coast, West Coast grudge where I'm like, East Coast, garbage, let it sink. For no good reason. I've spent so little time there. But for I think like a month and a half before and then around a week afterwards, at night, Universal Studios shuts down and then changes over into a like horror theme park because
Okay.
they have access to a lot of old and new properties and
Right, it's Universal. They
Yeah.
own all the monsters.
yeah. And so like I believe all of the rides stay open during
Okay.
this as well, just like, and they're normal, although the Jurassic Park ride plays Welcome to the Jungle. They're like raptors dancing to Welcome to the Jungle towards the end of the Jurassic
Is that
Park
meant
ride.
to be frightening?
No, it's a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. But they have like scare zones where there are scarectors, which is a theater union job. People are probably like, oh, scarectors, but that's the job. It's
So there's someone calling their mom and saying, I have something for you to be proud of.
Yes,
I'm a character.
It's a union acting job.
Okay.
And they take it very seriously. Like they don't break character. They're very good. They're trained to, if someone seems scared, they're trained to go after that person to like,
Oh, to break them down further.
yes. Yes. Oh, and then there are like haunted houses.
Okay.
That they put up. And you can do the tram tour, but the tram tour becomes like a walking tour.
And do they make it scary
theme
by
park.
playing some Van Halen or?
Every year all the years I've been, it's been Walking Dead
Okay.
themed. So they're like zombies walking
Zombies,
around.
okay.
To, like get in your face.
You know, you go to the one here in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not flying. No. I also, I just have a thing where I'm like, Hollywood one, way better. I have no basis for this.
You've
No.
never been to the one in Florida?
No, not for a second. I've never set foot in the state of Florida at all. It can get like intense for people. Oh, like my friend, there was a Silent Hill themed
Okay.
maze, like haunted house. They call them mazes, but it's not. No one's getting lost. You're on a straight line through this thing. And she got pinned against the stairwell by a man on stilts in a full leather like S&M gear and a gas mask who was walking around with a giant sledgehammer.
Did he pin her on purpose, or was it an accident? Like,
no, she was like afraid of him, so she kept backing up, and he kept walking towards her with his stilts. And then she backed up all the way to the stairs, and he was standing there, and she tried to go left around him, and he like put his left leg down, blocking her way. And then she tried to go right, and then he put his other giant stilt down in front of her, and she was just kind of like pinned there. And we were all laughing at her, and then eventually he walked away because it was like she couldn't be any more tortured. She had nowhere left to go.
So that really is the goal, to double down on people who are terrified?
Yeah.
Because they want an environment of this is so unbelievably scary, or is that defense against like teens being dicks? That they're like, no, believe us, we're going to terrify you. So if you come in here wanting to poke and laugh, we're going to scare the shit out of you.
I think it's the immersive thing. Because I'm sure that I have no basis for this, but I feel like in big movie cities, it just like attracts like a lot of like horror fans who want that kind of experience.
Okay.
The first year I went, we got there as it opened. So it's just like a crowd of people waiting for the gates to open. And they open up, and we're all kind of standing there, and we're way at the back. And we can kind of hear it sounds like a carnival barker, just sort of like introducing people to the park, and it's like very theatrical, and he's like in like his crazy carnival barker getup, but like evil. And we're standing there, eviler, excuse me. And there were a bunch of us, and my ex-wife was like, oh, let's go. Like, this will be fun. She does not like horror movies. I have no idea. She did not know.
Did you try to talk her down?
No, because I didn't know what it was like either. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I do like horror movies.
How did you not guess that it would be horrible when it's Halloween Horror Nights? Well, every word in there is scary.
I think she thought it would just be like, ooh.
Okay.
Like, spooky.
Like gentle, creepy evening.
Yeah, not dudes from Juilliard in S&M gear with sledgehammers.
I know Uta Hagen's 9 rules of making you shit yourself.
Yeah. I hung out in a haunted mental asylum to prepare for this role for 2 weeks.
Okay, so you went there with your ex-wife.
But there was like a group of us, so it was me and her, and then a couple we were friends with, and then another couple who loved scary shit. And we're standing there, and we're talking to our friend Candace, and I was like, do you like scary stuff? And she's like, I mean, not really, but like, this did sound fun. She just likes doing new things.
Yeah.
And she was like, as long as there are no clowns. Clowns are the only thing that really get to me. And in my brain, I'm like, there are going to be clowns.
There would be a riot if there weren't clowns.
There are always clowns. And as I'm thinking that, way at the front of the crowd, you can just kind of vaguely hear like screaming. And then slowly the screaming is moving backwards through the crowd towards us. And it's because when they opened the doors to let people in the park, when the guy finished his speech, murder clowns started running through with chainsaws, waving chainsaws at people.
Were they like prop chainsaws that were going?
They're prop chainsaws.
Obviously, they're not real chainsaws, but were they like going?
I think they used leaf blowers with chainsaws.
Oh, so you got the terrifying sound.
Yeah. But like, so they're running at people with this, and that's her. She's like, as long as there are no clowns. It's like, well, how about if the clowns also have chainsaws? Does that? Well, as a huge chainsaw enthusiast, that makes me less scared of the clowns. Oh, it was nuts. And then they're just running around. I remember being like, Jesus Christ, this is like psychological torture.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I have not been there in time to go for the start since.
That is a fascinating mix of entertainment to open it up and really truly terrify you, and then just like kind of calm down, like maybe grab a corn dog, and then get terrified again is a weird combination of emotions.
Because it is, when you come in, there will be like a few kind of characters walking around, and but you chill out a little bit because you're also just looking at everything. And our strategy also is we're like, well, we're going to be waiting in crazy long lines for a lot of stuff no matter what. So let's go as fast as we can to the other side of the park and do as much over there as quickly as possible. Because like Jurassic Park is on the other side.
Okay.
And I think the Transformers ride is on the other side as well.
Terrifying.
But so we hightailed it over there, and that was like... Okay. And then we did those, and then we went in did a few mazes as well. But like, it's you get like breathers, and then all of a sudden you look around, and they're like characters from The Purge. And you're like, oh God, I'm gonna have to interact with this person with a fake knife.
And you're an actor. Do you try
a comedian.
You're a comedian.
Let's qualify this.
You're a comedian who goes on auditions to act.
Yeah.
Do you try to act scared so that they will feel like that guy's already terrified. He doesn't need to be frightened more.
No, because I have that thing in my brain, because I like grew up in cities my whole life, and especially living in like Toronto and then here. In my brain, I have this thing where I'm like, don't look like a tourist.
Right.
So at a theme park like that, I like am so excited to go, and then I almost will myself into having as little fun as possible by just being like, meh, as they run at like, I don't care, you can't touch me. And then they kind of look at me like, hey, thanks, man. Like, yeah, you're really having a lot of fun.
Like, I'm trying to do a scene here. Yes, and me.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like embarrassed if people see me, if I like jump, if one of them gets me and makes me jump, I'm mad. I'm like, damn it, you asshole. Like, you're making me look like a chump in front of my girl, dude. Like, I get all like weird and macho about it. Yeah, but that's what I'm there for, theoretically.
In theory, you're there to be scared. Yeah, I have the same problem that I really aesthetically like Halloween stuff, but I don't like actually being scared because I kind of feel like, I don't know why people do. And I did a little haunted house thing at a party, and there was, the first room was a woman lying on the ground, and it was lit really well to be like, that could be a doll, that could be a person. And I looked like, I've assessed it. It's a doll. And then as soon as I thought that, she popped up and screamed. And I successfully didn't jump or anything. And then I just said, yeah. And I was like, no, I didn't mean to be an asshole to this poor person who's laying there trying to scare me. But it's just like, I have to cope with it in some way. I have to show the world that I'm okay. So it's like, yeah, I get it. Good scream.
I have pointed at them and gone, fuck! in like frustration when they get me. And I think that, though, is actually probably the most satisfying experience. Reaction they can have where they're like, I didn't just scare this dude. I made him mad. I scared him good enough.
Well, there's still some element of fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because just actual terror, like being pinned to the wall by a stilt man, I don't ever want that for any reason. So I want that to be a fun experience, like to be pinned to the wall by a stilt man and it'd be like, oh, yeah.
Bondage sledgehammer man?
Do not want that at all. Would you ever want to work there yourself?
No.
You would never want to be a character?
No. Yeah, because I can't commit. Even when I did improv in like high school, I would laugh during scenes. Like, I'm not good at committing to things. I laugh. I will write things and then be in them and laugh at my own jokes in the thing I wrote. Like, I just cannot commit to a role. These people are serious. They take it very seriously. The first haunted house, like, maze thing we went in was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because all the haunted houses have like themes based on like properties or whatever. Lately they've been doing ones where there'll be like a Van Halen, or no, there's a Black Sabbath one.
Oh, Black Sabbath one. Okay.
So it's like they pick a metal band and then extrapolate from kind of the themes and the music. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one was one of the best ones ever because it's a very plausible situation, like a dirty fat guy wearing a skin mask with a chainsaw.
There's nothing supernatural about it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I cannot believe this has not happened a dozen times already in this country.
It's very easy to just accidentally, with no malice, kill someone with a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. And I find that original film unbelievably unsettling.
Yeah, I have never watched it.
It's not even like spooky or scary. It's just afterwards you're like, oh god. Like the first time Leatherface pops out, he hits a guy is like walking through an old house and kind of trips, and this door slides open and Leatherface is standing there in a bloody meat smock.
Yeah.
And he squeals like a pig and then hits the dude in the head with a meat hammer, and the dude just starts like convulsing on the ground from like the brain trauma, and then he hits him again and carries him back into the room and slams the door shut. And there's no music. It doesn't like zoom in. It's just like, it's like a wide shot and it's in the background. It's not even the foreground. This dude tripping and then it all happens in the background.
So it's not cinematic. There's nothing to distance you. It's just, here's the thing that's happening.
Yeah. It's like that anti-cinematic thing where you're like, it's just like very matter of fact as opposed to like zooming in on the violence. It's just like, here you go. Here's this gross man squealing like a pig and hitting a dude with a meat hammer.
So with all that in your mind, you went into
We go and say, and it's like Leatherface popping out with a chainsaw scared the shit out of all of us every single time it happened.
Well, of course.
And he would just like burst into rooms. There's one room we walk in, it's empty. And my ex is like holding my arm. And up to that point, I'm like, oh, God, she's being really calm. This is pretty impressive. I figured this would scare the shit out of her. We go into a room, the room's empty, and the lights just go out. The lights just go out. You can't see. It's pitch black. You see nothing. As soon as that happens, she starts screaming her ass up. And then the lights come up and I look over at her and she's like covering her face in raw shame and embarrassment.
That she had screamed?
Yes.
Had she screamed words or just
screaming.
noises?
Yeah, it
Screaming.
broke her. It completely broke her. She thought she was going to die in that room. And that was the best. That's for sure there were other ones that have been like cooler.
Okay.
But that one was the best and most effective one.
Most effective for raw terror.
Yeah, I remember walking out and being like, wow, like, and you walk out and that's when the characters are most effective. Because if you were just going through the park and it was just them, you'd be like, fuck off.
You're right, yeah.
Get out of here.
Just came out of the men's room and then, hey!
This like traumatic experience has set your nerves on edge. And then it's very easy for like a woman dressed like a doll with a knife to just be like, no, please.
Give me a second.
Like, why?
It's corn dog time for me.
I'm trying to walk out of the exit hallway or exit alleyway of this haunted house.
Okay, well, let me ask you about sort of the big picture of it. So you walk out of that, it sounds like you're feeling complimentary, like, that was really well done. 2 thumbs up. I would give this a good review on Yelp.
Yeah.
Why do you think, for yourself or for other people, why do you think people want to be scared in public? I understand watching a horror movie to process the darkness of the reality of humanity alone in your house or with friends, but choosing to go to a place where I'm going to pay money to make me very upset. Why do you think people want to be scared in public?
It's like a communal, it's like going to see a comedy. A comedy's always better in the theater. Pretty much always.
Yeah.
Having the people around helps too because it's this shared experience. And I think that's a similar thing with like going to a scary theme park, is you get to share this experience with everybody and you're not like talking to them and the lines are too long, but like waiting in the lines.
It builds tension.
Yeah. The best time frame was the first year I went, when we got there when it opened and we rushed, was actually waiting in line for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre haunted house because it was only a 10 or 15 minute wait, but everybody got to stand in that line being like, oh God, like
hearing the screams from the inside probably.
Yeah, and it's the first one and you're like all tense, like how good is it gonna be? And then that was a great way to start, but it also none of the other haunted houses could quite live up to that one.
So do you feel like there's a catharsis when you actually scream? Like
safe.
You're letting it out now?
The other thing is it's safe as well. And it also helps, not since I was a kid, I've never been afraid of monsters.
Okay.
Like I don't have nightmares about monsters. I don't, it's the same way I'm not scared of a plane crash, but sometimes while I'm flying, I will think about the plane crashing for like an hour. And part of that is because I'm like clinically depressed. So I'm like, oh no, I die. Boo-hoo. But it's also, I'm just thinking about it in a very clinical way where I'll be looking at the window. I'm like, man, if a zombie uprising happened right now, they'd smash through those windows. I'd be dead. Like, this is how a big, beautiful house all of a sudden becomes the greatest liability I could possibly imagine. So I'm dog sitting. I don't have a big, beautiful house. My apartment, real safe against zombies.
Zombies don't want any of that.
The two things that zombies couldn't get into my place and we could not get out if there was a fire. That's like our apartment.
So you're kind of safe either way, because if the zombies get in, there's a fire. They burn, you burn. It's all over.
Yeah. Yeah, I for sure would turn the gas on and then light a match and take a bunch of them with me.
So
it's a safe experience, and I think that's why. Because I've also heard about people who've had like trauma and like PTSD, and some of them really enjoy those kinds of like being scared that way because they're like, I know I'm safe.
Yeah.
So it will trigger that trauma, but because I'm also aware of the fact that I actually don't have anything to fear, it can like help with it, and it's nice. And then other people who have like PTSD, it's the worst place for them.
Right.
like I have friends where they're like, I couldn't go. I'd attack the people jumping out at me and shit. I'd get so pumped and it would just like trigger these feelings in me where I'd attack them.
Just fight or flight.
Yeah,
and
blind self-defense.
I would take Stiltman down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. This is the least scary guy on earth. A guy with a heavy hammer on stilts? Oh, no.
He doesn't even have very good leverage.
Yeah, he's
going to fall over.
He's vulnerable only to a big breeze.
Yeah, don't get too close with those evil leaf blowers, clowns. You'll knock over Stiltman. So do you feel like it is a matter of this is a safe place to give up a little bit of my control? Where I'm saying, like, I know that no one is actually going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But I can also say that I am letting go of my ability to control my surroundings.
It's like cool. And also the best maze is like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one scared the shit out of me. And the Silent Hill one was interesting watching them struggle with the fact that they could not make it too implicitly sexual. Like they had to tone down the like incredibly barely sexual undertones of Silent Hill while still maintaining this thing that they based it more on the movie than the games. Like they didn't have Pyramid Head raping mannequins in one of the rooms. Yeah. No, I wanted it so much.
They should put that on their brochures. This is what you will not see at Halloween Horror Nights.
But that's so. But the best maze I've ever been in terms of when I went the last time I went 2 years ago, they had an American Werewolf in London haunted house, and that one was amazing.
Really?
Yes, because it had shit like one of the rooms you're walking down a hallway and then suddenly a subway. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Dude, this movie is so good.
Okay.
So there's like a scene in the movie where there's like he thinks he's gonna get hit by a subway train, and you're just like walking through a room, and then suddenly you almost get hit by a subway car pops out of the wall at you and almost hits you. And then in another room, they're like Nazi werewolves firing old-fashioned machine guns. Yeah. Which is like a scene from the movie. And that was great because I was like, oh, this was like an incredible interpretation of the movie.
Okay, so you're enjoying being immersed in these aesthetics that you like.
Yeah.
And you're appreciating the actual, like, craftsmanship.
It's also fun watching other people scream. Yeah. Like, it's fun watching other people get scared. Right. It's so much fun watching those guys terrorize people in the park. It is so much fun. And I like theme parks like that. Like, I like some rides, but I don't like roller coasters.
Okay.
So I don't like Six Flags or really like Knott's.
Yeah, that kind of all roller coasters all the time.
Yeah. I have a terrible... that to me is crazy. Roller coasters and stuff, I'm like... never. You could never get me on one of those. I hate heights so much. They scare me.
Would you like a roller coaster more if there was like a clown sitting next to you trying to scare you the whole time? Would that make it more of an interesting experience?
No, because that would ruin the clown. Because I'd be like, oh, right, there are real things to fear in this world.
Instead of just getting whipped around on this dumb ride.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you in general about monsters, because I know that you said you had never been a big fan of like monsters in general.
I like monsters, but I'm not afraid of monsters.
Okay.
Like, I like gory movies.
Okay.
But like, I like gory monster movies because... then it's like, who cares? Like, this is not... the older I get, violent action movies bother me more and more as, like, a reflection on the culture of how... it's like those movies have desensitized us to violence in a way where, like... it's like forgetting that they're, like, real people getting shot. So, like, it feels like such a reflection of people in this country being, like... you know, when, like, it talks about, like, a drone strike killing, like, 15... terrorism people are like, oh, good. It's like, yeah, but those are real people, and we're just trusting a military that isn't trustworthy when it comes to identifying these targets. And the fact that people are just fine with it, the people that would be like so stoked, like we should just go in there and shoot them all and let God sort them out.
Right.
And so many action movies feel like they contribute to that. They both contribute to and are a reflection of that kind of culture. And it's making it harder and harder for me to enjoy those kinds of movies. But we're not waging a monster war. Like, we're not dropping werewolves into
we're not...
Yemen and, like, people at a funeral are getting butchered by mummies.
No drones with silver bullets just taking out werewolves willy-nilly.
Yes, yeah. So, like, monster movies, you can just enjoy the violence and not worry about the social consequences.
Right.
Anywhere near as much. So, like, I like that aspect of it a lot.
Okay, so you like some of the classic monsters? Does Universal use the classic monsters, or do you want them to have, like, old school Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster kind of things?
They have, like, reinterpretations at some of the parks. They had a Dracula Untold. Or Dracula Untold. What was it? Dracula Beginnings? What was
Dracula No One Cares? I can't remember.
Yeah, they tried to, like, launch a Marvel Universe-style classic.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, I think it's
we went through that.
Uncovered? I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. His the sex movies he shot before he got famous. Before he became a count. And, or Or he was just a human. Right. It's before he became vampire would have been the better joke.
Yeah.
But I remember going through that that haunted house and at one point being like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, classic monsters aren't... Like, Frankenstein is not scary.
No.
Frankenstein is scary in maybe like a thoughtful way, where in a way you're not scared or you're like chilled intellectually, where you're like, how far are we going to go? Like, what are the ramifications of just
right.
never ending? I mean, Frankenstein is scary the same way Jurassic Park is scary.
So that's
not true, because Jurassic Park had kind of scary moments where you'd at least be like,
dinosaurs might eat you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like in the theater, you'd be like, oh, that raptor scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Whereas Frankenstein is scary the way Jurassic Park scares Jeff Goldblum before everything goes wrong.
Right.
Where it's just
the most like what, we are violating God's law.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like how far? Like,
yeah.
So you're not walking through the maze like, oh, we didn't stop to think if we should.
Would you like that, though, if a character came up to you and was just like an oldie-time Victorian guy going, should we?
Yeah, yes. Coming up to me and being like, the trolley dilemma. And I'm like, oh, right. Oh, self-driving cars, the big question. Who do you save, the driver or the other people?
Have we the right to make Google self-driving cars? Spooky. Okay, well, that makes sense to me. I wanted to ask you if Halloween Horror Nights made a night for you, or a whole park that's for you based on the fears of Will Weldon. What would the park look like if they were personally trying to terrorize you?
I don't like spiders.
Okay.
I don't like real spiders. And it's also, are we talking like jump scares?
Or just what fears would manifest? Like, so spiders... is there a way, this is kind of a jokey question, but kind of a serious question, is there a way to create a good maze or experience out of emotional terror? Like, what is the maze for I will never work again?
Well, honestly, for me, it would be like, this is fucked up. It would be women having emotional... It would be women having emotional trauma that I had given them.
Oh, that you were responsible for.
Yeah. So, like, if I'm walking through this thing and a woman is, like, running over to me, like, screaming and crying and talking about how I, like, raped her. Yeah, that would really, really upset me for the rest of my life.
Understandably so.
Even just knowing that it's, like, that's like such a primal concern, because I've always tried to treat, a part of it helped that I was like married for almost my entire 20s, so I like didn't really go through that period where men are most likely to treat women badly. But it's like that thing, it's like guys will be like, well, I didn't know that what I was doing was so bad. And I have always tried to treat women well and fairly, and just treat them fairly.
Yeah.
But it's that thing. It's like, I don't know, what if there's something from my past that I don't even remember, or like some horrible unlocked, or like, or even if it became a supernatural thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What if I'm the dark half and I go to sleep and then wake up and that's why I'm tired all the time? Because I'm going out just abusing every human being.
Oh,
but
right.
It's specifically women. Like, where I'm just going out and like doing horrible things to women at night. And I go out and all of a sudden I'm like Frank. At night I'm Frank and I'm doing these horrible things and don't even know. That would be the haunted house.
Okay, right.
So good luck designing that one. Or you could just push me into a room and let a bunch of fucking spiders go, and that would be just as bad.
What if it was spiders dressed as women?
Accusing me of sexual violence? No, I would laugh and laugh and laugh.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because then I start thinking about the logistics of that. And I'd be like, but you're spiders.
How are you going to execute this?
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Obsessed co-producer Sarah Meyer, and this week I'm out in Venice Beach again, trying to find out what scares people. Do you guys like haunted houses?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
No, I won't step my foot in that shit. I'm so scared of the dark. I don't watch scary movies because I pee myself.
Do you like Halloween?
I love Halloween because it gets to, you can dress up as whatever you like. It's fun. Yeah, it's not as big home though as here.
Where are you from?
Sweden.
Do they do Halloween though?
They do, but it's not as slutty as it's here.
Love Halloween.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you guys dressing up as this year?
I'm dressing up as a Santa Claus actually imagine that?
That's a twist.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn. Oh, nice. Yeah.
So can I ask you, have you been to Halloween Horror Nights?
Yes, I have. I've been to Halloween Horror Nights and it's fucking atrociously interesting.
If you guys could design a theme park based on your worst fears, what would it be like?
I don't know, like
UFO, UFOs coming in and invading, huh? Right? Something like that, right?
Really? I was thinking of like, I don't know, like BDSM stuff or something like crazy, like Freddy Krueger or something.
Well, I think I would make it like, there would be like broken roller coasters and stuff, and then there would be like several different houses, like a children hospitals with like a lot of just scary kids, and like a doll house that would scare the shit out of me as well. There would definitely be an asylum, and I don't know, zombies all over the place.
What's the scariest monster in a movie you've ever seen?
Oh my god, I don't know. It doesn't take
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, okay. Or Pinface or whatever.
Pinhead?
Pinhead.
Pinhead? No. Yeah, they're the same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the last movie I watched was The Ring, and after that I still have nightmares. And that was what? I was 14? So I still don't watch scary.
How old are you now?
26.
We're going to move on to our How Obsessed Are You questions. Do you think about Halloween Horror Nights every day?
No.
Because it's a seasonal thing for you, right?
It's a seasonal thing, and like last year I didn't have a lot of money, and my girlfriend at the time and we were going through like kind of it was tough, and I was in just in a bad place in life, so I just didn't go. Like I didn't have the money, and I was like, I don't want to borrow the money, and I don't know who I'm going to go with, so I just didn't go last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're going to go this year.
Oh, man, I'd better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a dream specifically about Halloween Horror Nights?
No. I do daydream about it off season, about wanting to go again. Like I will think about it in like February, and I'm like, fuck man, I hope I can go this year.
You stare out the window like a lawn gnome.
And I start thinking like, what are they going to have? Because they've had, every year I've gone the tram tours Walking Dead, and those are always my least favorite parts.
Okay.
Like Universal clearly owns the rights. It must own the rights.
Yeah. I think there's a year-round Walking Dead thing now.
Yeah, because it's so much. Like, but I just don't think zombie shit is scary. I think zombie stuff is so played out. At the start of the tram tour, they're like, all right, it's a walking tour, but there's security guards there that'll walk you through so you don't get attacked. And then it stops. It's like, oh, the security guards have been infected, everybody. And then the security guards are zombies and they run at you with chainsaws. And I'm like, fuck off. Like
chainsaws?
Yeah. So that's
not accurate to Walking Dead.
Well, and that's the other thing is
that makes me mad.
Yeah, they're in like riot gear. And that's why the worst stuff is the least specific stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why like a vampire is not scary. But a specific vampire can be scary.
Right.
Because it's the details that make it scary. Actual like jumping out scary. And I hate that because I'm like, first of all, zombies are scary. Part of the reason being a zombie is so scary is because you get bitten by a zombie, you then become a zombie and have to walk the earth as a zombie. If you're killed by a chainsaw, you don't become a chainsaw, forced to like cut trees down for the rest of your life. So I'm like, oh, if I gotta get killed by a zombie, I'd rather the chainsaw. Also, they're riot cops. They're in riot gear. Why would they have fucking chainsaws?
Yeah,
that's not an effective way to put a riot down by chainsawing
zombies.
people.
I do understand having them in riot gear because I think to me the danger of zombies now is we have watched so much zombie lore. I think we all feel like I know how to kill a zombie.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy. Like I know how to make coffee, and I also know how to stab behind the eye to get to the brain.
Yeah,
of course I know that. So I would think it would be dangerous for the people playing the zombies to get like drunk patrons going like, yeah, I can take them down like Rick Grimes.
When the original thing I pitched to you about Halloween obsessed with, or horror stuff I'm obsessed with, but like you had somebody else talking about zombies, it's the whole thing in zombie movies where they don't know what zombies are. I fucking hate that. I hate zombie movies. I hate when they're like, the dead are up and they're eating people. I don't understand.
Right.
It's like,
you had like a Facebook essay about this.
Dude, just the idea, it's too much. So you expect me to buy that there's a universe where zombies walk the earth, which like biologically makes no sense. But dead flesh can't be like the brain stops. You can't start it again.
Yeah.
Also, you expect us to also believe that this is a universe where zombies do not exist as a concept. Because zombies also are a metaphor we employ in regular life where if somebody looks bad, like barely slept, you'll be like, Jesus, you look like a corpse. If there were no zombies, somebody would be like, no, I don't. I'm not in a coffin. And corpses look good. Like, corpses have, like, makeup.
That's a compliment, yes.
Yeah, like, they're all done up. Because there's no concept of dead corpses shambling around. It makes me nuts.
Yeah.
It infuriates me. I hate that part. I hate all the zombie stuff at the park. Zombies, I don't care. Zombies are scary because they're relentless.
Yeah.
Like, they don't stop. They go slow, but they don't stop. I hate running zombies.
Oh, yeah. So fast zombies who can operate things. I don't like zombies who can operate things. Like, your arm should rot off if you're trying to pick up a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Because you should just, that's the horror, is like this shambling death that will come for you no matter what, even if it's falling apart.
Yeah, and also it's like that, this is my future. It'll be like lying on the ground, unable to move because I'm decomposed so bad, but I'm still snapping at things, trying to bite them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
at the point where you have to wear riot gear and are carrying around a chainsaw, it still work. And I think the fantasy of being a zombie is, I got nothing to do. The only thing I care about is biting at things that come near me. Yeah. Other than that, I have no concern.
Why would they have chainsaws, even if they're trying? Like, chainsaws aren't even effective for killing zombies.
No, and we all know that, for God's sake.
I hate it.
Okay, so you've daydreamed about Halloween Horror Nights. Would you get in a fight on social media about Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah, if somebody said it was bad, I'd be like, it's objectively not bad. Okay. It's quite an achievement.
You would throw down.
Yeah. And I've never done the Haunted Hayride.
Okay.
Which is like also very popular and people have said is like, can be very scary. But Halloween Horror Nights is the only haunted house thing I've ever had where it scared me instead of just startling me.
Okay.
Like, if you just startle me, it's like, yeah, you made me jump, but like, so what? Yeah, if you called me and told me my parents were dead, you'd make me cry, but that's not an impressive feat. You're just being an asshole.
Right.
So I want a haunted house to go beyond just being an asshole to me.
Right. And I thought that's an interesting distinction between being like sad and having like a deep, the world is awful feeling of emotion versus just screaming, just having it being in a place where it's okay to just yell your fucking head off because a monster came out of a wall.
Yeah. After the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, that first year I went, my ex and our friend Candace, they were both like, no more haunted houses for us. You guys go ahead. No problem. We have no problems waiting. But like, no more for us. And it's like, yeah, I see how that experience was not enjoyable for her.
Right.
To shatter like a pane of glass, that does seem bad. That's very fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you do stand-up at Halloween Horror Nights if they paid you $1,000?
Yeah, but I wouldn't look forward to it.
No, it's not a good venue for it.
I'll perform anywhere for $1,000.
Really? Like you would do stand-up at a funeral for $1,000?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I qualify that. I would not do the Gathering of the Juggalos for any amount of money.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't want them throwing, like, that's not safe. Like, I wouldn't put my safety in jeopardy.
Okay.
Yeah, it also depends, like, am I going to have a room or even if I'm just on, like, a podium in the middle of Halloween Horror Nights, yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah.
I'd have a bad time. It would be really bad.
How do you think it would go if it was...
Bad.
Well,
really
I know
bad.
it would go bad, but I want even more details. If there was, like, the relaxing safety zone, like, if you get too scared at Halloween Horror Nights, you can go into Will Weldon's stand-up comedy tent.
Go, hey, you need to simmer down and not be riled up. Go see yeah, that's what I want. Hey, if you want to just quell your emotions and not feel anything, go see this guy's comedy. Make me feel good. But yeah, no, that'd be better if I was in like a room or a space.
Yeah.
But I'd even do it if I was just in the middle of the park doing it.
Okay, just sort of stand-up comedy as busking.
Yeah, and it would be off, like, I know you get that thing where, like, most people would ignore you, but there would be like 5 or 6 people at a time who would stop and stare.
Oh, yeah.
Being like, because have you done stand-up in that kind of situation where you're like outside at like a fair or something?
Yeah, where it is unclear whether people should be paying attention to you or not.
People are just walking by to go to other things.
It's horrific.
Oh.
Yeah, and that would be great also with this because people would assume that it's a setup for something and there'd be this like creeping horror of the tension building of like, a clown's gonna kill the stand-up eventually, and then nope.
The hardest condition they could give me is if they were like, you have to do your act.
Okay, that you care about.
Yes, that would be very difficult because I'd be so it'd be so hard not to just do the whole hour on what was happening.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you want to do, is just be talking to people as they stop and being like, listen, I too don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the same place. I don't know why this is happening, but look, I'm getting paid. You would not believe the things I would do for money. So, like...
Fair enough. Would you have a Halloween Horror Nights themed birthday party?
No. I'm too old for birthday parties.
So the birthday party is the terrifying part of that.
Yeah, not even just embarrassing.
Is it too attention seeking for a mature person?
Yeah, I think it's too attention seeking, and it's literally everybody has birthdays.
So nothing important you've accomplished.
No, you
to be
didn't.
Celebrated.
You didn't die. Like, your expectations for yourself are so low that you're like, I didn't wander into traffic for another 365 days. I didn't accidentally eat poison. I was in the forest. I didn't eat any mushrooms that were just growing. Let's celebrate.
Fair enough. Next, how obsessed are you question? Thank you for the birthday tangent. Would you break up with someone who hated Halloween Horror Nights?
No. My girlfriend now likes horror movies.
Okay.
But, like, they scare her, so it's also, like, you gotta watch them under, like, ideal circumstances. She can't really go to the theater.
Okay.
Like, she can't see them in a theater.
So she needs them at home where she can pause if she needs to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get some stand-up from you to calm down.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then, like, I gotta hang around that night, because she'll for sure have she'll be terrified. Like,
okay.
But, no, I never... It's like, I've been out on dates with people who like horror movies, but I've never been in a relationship with one.
Okay.
And it's always the one thing where I'm like, you know?
That it would be awesome if somebody liked the horror movies?
Yeah. And people will be like, oh, sorry, are they not perfect enough to the degree that they don't enjoy the exact same movies as you in the exact same situations? And I'm like, thank you for noticing.
Have you ever grilled a woman? Like, do you like horror movies? And specifically, do you like the ones that get to a deeper level of horror? Because you were talking about the level, like liking a specific kind of horror movie.
And that's a thing, too, where people who are like, I love horror movies, but then they're like, well, I only like them if they're, like, scary with monsters and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Testament with somebody, and she was like, it's just boring. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's a horror movie, but it's not, like, it's unsettling because it's, like, a found footage movie about a cult. And I liked it a lot, but it's not scary, really, at all. And I went to go see, there's this guy, Davey Johnson, who's, like, very funny. He's, like, an actor, but he loves horror movies, and we went to go see Paranormal Activity together.
Okay.
And it was, like, one of the opening nights. The place was rammed. It was so full. It was so fun. Like, people were screaming, and there was a dude, like yelling out, just yelling out, like, oh, shit! And it was, like, fun, because it's not a serious movie.
Right.
And that was a great experience. But, like, those movies are bad. The Paranormal Activity movies, they have some neat things in them. The second one has a couple of cool camera tricks. But I couldn't sit down and watch one of those in my apartment. So I'd never watch something like that with, like, my girlfriend.
So this is like a Seinfeld-like bit where you are talking to a woman that you might be interested in. You're like, do you like horror? And she's like, yeah. But then she says, like, Paranormal Activity. And you're like, bye. I'm out.
No, my point was I wouldn't break up with them.
Fair enough. That's the most horrifying thing, when I put words into my guest's mouth. Have I the right? Okay, well, that's cool. You would not break up with someone. You're tolerant of their different levels of horror. This is a newer question on the podcast. You haven't actually answered this one before. If there was a large bear blocking you from entering Halloween Horror Nights, would you try to navigate around the bear?
No, what kind of a question is this?
You would be surprised the answers I get.
I guess. No. No, I wouldn't.
You would not navigate a bear at all.
Well, but listen, here's why I'm not fun. It's because you say that, and I'm like, well, I have 10,000 follow-up questions for you.
Right.
I'd go get a staff member and be like, there's a bear in the goddamn entrance, right? Are other people going around the bear?
This is a ludicrous question that sometimes gets real answers, which is great, which is why I ask it. But it's special for Halloween Horror Nights, because would you have a moment where you get there's a bear, and would you have a moment where you go, oh, yes, is this part of this?
Yeah.
Am I going to look like the asshole if I'm the one who's like, do you guys know there's a bear there? And we're like, yeah, it's Halloween Horror Nights, you idiot.
But also, there are other people there, so if the bear is, like, mauling other guests, I'm going to be like, I don't think this bear is a part of the attraction.
What if how about this scenario? You're girlfriend is already in the park. She's in Halloween Horror Nights. You're arriving late. You had a gig. You have to catch up with her late. You get there late. There's nobody else there. It's just a bear at the gate.
There's always people there is the thing. This place is crowded. Also, you're now bumping up into the problem which so many movies are so bad at dealing with, and we live in a world with cell phones.
Well, you text her and say,
like,
there's
if
a
you
bear.
were proposing this, if this was like an early 90s situation, okay. If you set this hypothetical situation in the early 90s, as filmmakers have done to get around the cell phone issue. Yeah, then
would you take out your pager?
I'd like tie a note to a brick and hurl it over the wall and hope that it didn't hurt anyone and that she got it somehow.
Is there anything that you would navigate a bear for? Just in terms of how obsessed of a person you are. Is there anything, like any bit of media, that if a bear was trying to stop you, you would try to navigate the bear?
I can't imagine. If you're talking about like the antidote.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. If it was life and death, you would navigate a bear.
Because it's life and death. So I'm facing a life and death situation anyway. So I might as well take a stab at the bear as opposed to just, I'll die anyway.
Okay. And then if you live, you can have a birthday party because you will have earned it.
Yeah, that's a party, not a birthday party.
A bear surviving party.
Yeah. And even then, I'd make it, if it's like an achievement, I'd make it small. I'd maybe be like, tell like 10, 15 people, like, I got this big thing, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I got the money for it. You guys want to come, but I'm not going to make a Facebook thing for it. Yeah. Oh, Will's playing young Han Solo.
You should have a party if that happens. I know it's not going to happen.
I wouldn't
it's
tell anyone.
They would find out.
I know. Deadline would
out you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't tell anyone.
If you were cast...
I would make people... I would not tell anyone, and I would tell all my reps. I'd be like, listen, don't post about this. Don't write. Like, I just want to see if people find out about this. Like, I don't... Because it's going to be such a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't need them to make a whole deal about it. It's different than when you need people around you to be posting about things if it's like, oh, you're making a pilot. Because people aren't going to... But like, if your cast is young Han Solo...
People will know.
I'm going to be like, don't tell anyone. Let's see how long it takes people to find out about this.
Would you be defensive if your friends congratulated you about it? If they saw it on Deadline and they texted you, hey, you're going to be young Luke Skywalker. Congratulations. Would you be like, yeah, whatever?
I'd be tempted to lie.
It's another Will Weldon.
Yeah.
Another Canadian Will Weldon.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, this is the final How Obsessed Are You question. If you could not go to Halloween Horror Nights without you or someone you love first being punched in the crotch, would you still go to Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a horrible follow-up to the bear question.
Because the bear is worse in your mind?
Yes, in my mind. Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos who'd rather be punched in the balls than mauled by a bear.
Well, the question isn't, do you want to get mauled by a bear? It's, do you want to get around a bear?
Right.
So you're assuming that you will be mauled.
The implication of get around a bear. Like, it's not like I think the bear is just going to lecture me about fire safety. I'm picturing a mauling as the grand... worst consequence.
I think I might ask a question that way. If it's Smokey the Bear, he's
do you want to be patronized too?
He's got a shovel. He looks like a fucking murderer. Topless guy with a shovel in the woods.
That is what that shovel was for, burying the bodies of people that he mauled.
Be careful of fire.
Yeah.
No other problems in the woods. Can you make a noise to sum up your obsession with Halloween Horror Nights?
It's like some weird theater exercise that would get in my head that I would hate.
Yeah, scare actor.
No.
No, you can't make a noise.
No, I can't. I mean, if I was Michael Winslow, I would do, I don't know, like a turnstile noise or something.
Really?
Yeah, to simulate going in.
Yeah, what do they creak on purpose?
Chuk-a-dunk-dunk. That thing. That's kind of the noise they make. Chuk-a-dunk-dunk. Yeah.
That's a great sound.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said noise, right?
Yeah, a noise. Yeah, because
it'd be the turnstile noise.
It's accurate, and it sounds like a song might start.
Yeah.
Chicka-dung-dung. And now Phil Collins. I've been rating. I would be terrified if I went through a turnstile and that whole song started. The most terrifying ever.
You watch a man drown.
I've been rating people's obsession on a scale of 1 to 7.
What the fuck?
I know, just because I want to.
Who the fuck are you?
I know. I'm full of myself. I'm mad with obsessed power. So I think you are about a 4.
Yeah.
Because you really like them. You think about them.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of reservations. You have a lot of stopping points.
I mean, that was almost why I hesitated to suggest this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I also wonder if it's just a thing I like. But I think about it a lot. And it's so fun. And it's also, I think the thing that would most make me seem obsessed about it is that there are also aspects of it that I hate, that are truly a bad time. Like, I hate waiting in those lines.
Yeah.
Those lines are insane. It doesn't matter what night you like. By peak hours, you're waiting an hour to go spend 4 minutes walking through a goddamn haunted house.
Right.
Where at best, I'm either going to enjoy the art design or be like, oh! Like, I'm waiting that long for that experience. And towards the end of that line wait, you're like, have we become so deadened as a culture that, like, to experience true emotion and just, like, to experience the most real and, like, authentic emotional experiences, I have to pay, like, $75 to go to an amusement park to have them simulate a goddamn monster jumping out at me. Is that what I've come to? But then as you go through it, you're like, oh, that's why the bad one sucks so bad.
Right.
Because you wait all that time and you walk through and you're like, no, it's bad. But a lot of the bad ones also don't have long waits.
Yeah.
So I'll wait 20, 25 minutes and just go through one and be like,
Yeah.
Like, like I did the Black Sabbath one because it was a real short wait. I was there on a date with a woman I called the police on, a story I have talked about previously.
Yes.
That was our first date. And that was the diciest first date choice of all time.
To take her through Black Sabbath?
It could have gone so bad. Just the whole thing. But like that, and that's a great example. She was a huge horror movie fan, and I ended up calling the police on her because she attacked me.
So
like,
a perfect
this is my
horror
dilemma
movie.
of never having things work out with horror movie fans.
Yeah. Well, I just real quick follow-up.
But that's the Yeah, that's what makes me feel like I'm obsessed. Is that there are parts of it I genuinely dislike, and the food is bad, and it's so expensive, and I can never. It's like never a super affordable experience for like. I'm always like, things are gonna be a little tight after I do this because and like parking is a lot, and like you're waiting in lines, and like the traffic when you're leaving. But I still go because of the like brief moments of raw catharsis
that you can't get elsewhere.
Yeah,
cool. That makes a lot of sense. We move on to our final questions. They don't have anything to do with your obsession, but they can if you want. If you had to get a tattoo on your forehead, what would you get a tattoo of?
See, again, I want more.
You want
details.
More? Oh, well, you can ask.
But like, it feels like I should honor the question as it's presented.
Follow-up questions are just fine. You are making these rules.
No, it feels like I should honor the question.
You are making up rules, then getting mad at yourself for violating them.
Yes. That's a great way to sum me up. I would just this vague with no other details.
Okay.
I would get the phrase. I'm not going to give you two. I'm only giving you one because, again, that's not honoring the question. I would get the phrase, "This was done under duress."
That's great because it is very specific to that situation.
And it explains it. People hopefully will see that and be like, that sounds uncomfortable. I'm not going to ask about that.
Right.
I don't want to have to talk about it.
Right.
That's it. Like,
right, because that's always going to be the conversation starter.
Oh, God.
Like, I know everybody asked this, but
yeah.
What's the story of your head tattoo?
Or I would get a religious... Well, even then, people are going to want to talk. But I get a religious symbol, and I'm not a religious person.
Okay.
But just because that's so self-explanatory, it makes it feel like...
Why are people going to ask about the cross on the head? Like, they probably don't want the answer no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question, which you can ask follow-ups if you want. If you could yell at an inanimate object to make it work better, and that actually worked...
My car.
Your car?
My car. My car. My car. My car. Is this possible? Is this a real thing?
I so wish.
I also speak to my GPS in a way that makes me seem as if I am the most abusive human being in the universe.
Do you just scream at it for doing things wrong, for making bad choices?
It talks so much It's like left turn 500 miles, left turn ahead, left turn 500 miles. At this street, turn left. And in the midst of that, where you're driving through the city and you're making all these turns and it's just like rattling off 5 things, I will just be like, shut up, you stupid bitch. And I do not talk to women that way.
Yeah.
But my GPS is not a real person.
Yeah.
And it'll be that, and then I'll like turn right and be driving, and as I'm going through the intersection, it'll just be like turn left. And I'll be like, where the fuck were your 5 build-up instructions before that one, you hunk of fucking garbage?
Yeah.
I'll pick it up and scream at it while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Oh, I go crazy on it. But
Does
my
it
car is
say-
always breaking down.
Does it ever say recalculating? That's the worst because it feels like a comment on my life. Like, you missed that. Recalculating.
See, the thing I like is when I get somewhere and it goes, you have arrived. And I'm like, yeah, baby.
That's pretty great. All right. Well, the final question for the podcast is...
How many final questions are you going to lob at me?
This is the final
You keep saying
question.
final question.
I said the final question in the How Obsessed Are You?
Oh,
and
I
then
didn't
these
understand.
are among the final questions, and this is the final question.
I mistook all of those. Because I'm getting the final question, so I'm like, okay, I'll use the big emotion for this last one. And then I get another one, and I'm like, man, come on. I can only maintain this energy level for so long.
Well, now I'm just going to do it more to other guests because I know that I'm getting the good stuff.
Oh, my God.
You can do it. This is the last for real question. I believe in you, Will Weldon. Here we go. What is happiness?
Come on.
You've done the podcast before.
Yeah, but I don't remember. It's been over the span of like 2 years.
Yeah, I will share this with you. You said something snarky.
I'm sure.
Very funny, very snarky. In your moments where you are truly happy, where you're like, wow, this is weird because I know you have issues.
You know what it is? It is focus.
Focus.
Happiness is focus. It is just having one thing you are thinking about. So maybe happiness is just being medicated so I can function like a regular human being. But my happiest moments are when I'm just like, I have to do this thing. And then I start doing the thing.
I know exactly where I'm going, and I have arrived.
Yep. Yeah. Happiness is arriving.
That is a great answer. Thank you very much. That really was the last question. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Oh, my God.
That is our podcast.
You've been listening to Obsessed. Joseph Scrimshaw and his guest shared some stories with the rest. Rate 5 stars if you're impressed.
Here's the best experience I've personally ever had at a haunted house. Someone dressed as the Grim Reaper suddenly bent over and yelled at my wife, Sarah. She was understandably upset, spooked, and let out a surprised gasp shriek. The Grim Reaper clearly felt bad about this, so the Reaper sort of shrugged and then put the reaping hand up to offer a high five. And I watched that with great joy as my wife high-fived the Grim Reaper, because I can't think of a better way to sum up the dark, ludicrous beauty of Halloween than high-fiving death itself. Spooky.